She pressed every button in the elevator. She stepped out. She stepped back in. She hid in the corner. She waved her hands like she was talking to someone, but the elevator was empty. Security footage captured it all. For minutes, Elisa Lam, alone in an elevator, behaving like someone was with her. 19 days later, they found her body in the water tank on the roof, naked, floating, decomposed. The LAPD said it was an accident, but accidents don't explain what's in the footage. This is what really happened to Elisa Lam. Before I show you what everyone missed in that elevator video, I need to tell you something. My mom said I can't get 1,000 subscribers. She thinks nobody cares about the truth. She thinks these stories don't matter. So here's what I need you to do. Hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. And drop a comment. Anything, just to prove her wrong. Because this story, it deserves to be told. Elisa Lam deserves the truth. And I'm going to show you exactly what happened that night. Let's prove my mom wrong. Together, the Cecil Hotel, downtown Los Angeles, 640 South Main Street, the Cecil Hotel. If you know anything about dark history, you know this hotel, built in 1924, it was supposed to be a luxury destination. Marble floors, grand ballrooms, the height of elegance. But the Cecil Hotel became something else, something darker. In the 1950s, it became a flop house, cheap rooms, weekly rates. It attracted a different clientele, transients, people with nowhere else to go, people running from something. And then the death started. 1947, Elizabeth Short, the Black Dahlia, was last seen at the Cecil Hotel before her mutilated body was found in Leimert Park. 1964, Goldie Osgood, a retired telephone operator, was raped and murdered in her room, stabbed, strangled, her room ransacked. 1985, serial killer Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, lived on the 14th floor while terrorizing Los Angeles. He'd returned to the Cecil covered in blood, walked through the lobby. No one stopped him. 1991, Jack Unterweger, an Austrian serial killer, stayed at the Cecil while murdering sex workers across L.A. He killed 3 women. He was a guest there, a paying customer. By the 2000s, the Cecil Hotel had earned a reputation. The most haunted hotel in America, the Suicide Hotel, the Death Hotel. People killed themselves there, jumped from windows, overdosed in rooms, died in mysterious circumstances. The hotel tried to rebrand. In 2011, they created Stay on Main, a hostel on the upper floors with shared bathrooms and cheaper rates, targeting young travelers, backpackers, students. In February 2013, Elisa Lam checked in. She was 21 years old, a student from Vancouver, Canada, traveling alone, staying in one of the shared rooms on the 14th floor. On February 1st, 2013, she was supposed to check out. She didn't. Her family called the hotel. No answer. They called the police. Elisa Lam had vanished. The LAPD launched an investigation immediately. Missing person. Last seen at the Cecil Hotel. A hotel with a dark history. They searched her room. Nothing unusual. Her belongings were still there. Luggage, clothes, laptop, phone. She hadn't packed, hadn't checked out, just disappeared. They interviewed hotel staff. Nobody remembered seeing her leave. She was friendly, quiet, polite, no red flags. They interviewed guests. Nobody saw anything. Nobody heard anything. The LAPD reviewed security footage from the hotel. Hallways, lobby, entrances, hours and hours of footage. And then they found it. Elevator footage. February 1st, 11 a.m. For minutes of video showing Elisa Lam in the elevator. And what she does in that elevator changes everything. The LAPD released a video to the public on February 14th, 2013. They hoped someone would recognize her behavior, maybe explain what was happening. The video went viral. Millions of views. People analyzing every frame, every movement, every gesture. Because What Elisa does in that elevator doesn't make sense. She enters the elevator, presses multiple buttons. All of them. The elevator doesn't move. She steps out of the elevator, looks left, looks right, like she's checking if someone is following her. Then she steps back in. She hides in the corner, crouches, like she's trying to make herself invisible. Then she steps out again, stands in the hallway, waves her hands. Her fingers move in strange patterns, like she's communicating, or casting a spell, or pushing something away. She steps back into the elevator. The doors don't close. The elevator doesn't move. She waits. She's talking to someone, but the elevator is empty. Finally, she leaves. The elevator doors close. The elevator moves. Elisa Lam is never seen again. The water. For 19 days, Elisa Lam was missing. Her family pleaded for information. The LAPD continued searching. Her face was everywhere. News, social media, missing person posters across Los Angeles. But nobody knew where she was. And then the water complaints started. Hotel guests on the upper floors, the stay on main hostel floors, reported problems with the water. The water pressure was low. The water tasted strange, metallic, off. Some guests said the water was discolored, black, brown, like something was in the pipes. One guest reported the smell. The water smelled like decay, like something rotting. On February 19th, 2013, hotel maintenance workers went to the roof to check the water tanks. The Cecil Hotel had 4 large water tanks on the roof. Each one held thousands of gallons of water. The tank supplied water to the entire hotel. Drinking water, shower water, toilets. The workers climbed the ladder. They opened the hatch on one of the tanks, and they found her, Elisa Lam, floating, naked, decomposed. She'd been in the water for 19 days. For 19 days. Hotel guests had been drinking that water, showering in it, brushing their teeth with it, cooking with it. For 19 days, Elisa's body had been decomposing in their water supply. The LAPD immediately sealed the hotel. Hazmat teams arrived. The water tanks were drained. The hotel was evacuated. But here's what doesn't make sense. How did she get into the water tank? The water tanks are on the roof. The roof access is locked. You need a key. Hotel staff have keys. Maintenance workers have keys. Guests don't. The water tank itself is sealed. The hatch is heavy. It weighs over 20 pounds. You need both hands to open it. Once you open the hatch, you have to climb inside. The opening is narrow. The tank is tall. Once you're inside, you can't reach the hatch to close it behind you. But when maintenance workers found Elisa, the hatch was closed, sealed. How did she close it from inside? The investigation. The LAPD launched a full investigation. This wasn't a missing person case anymore. This was a death investigation, possibly a homicide. The autopsy revealed key findings. Cause of death, drowning. Water in her lungs confirmed she drowned. She was alive when she entered the water. No signs of trauma. No bruises. No cuts. No defensive wounds. No indication of a struggle. No drugs in her system. Toxicology came back negative for recreational drugs. No alcohol. No date rape drugs. Nothing. Prescription medications. Elisa was on medication for bipolar disorder, for different prescriptions, but the levels in her blood were below therapeutic range. She hadn't been taking her medication regularly. The LAPD's theory, Elisa Lam was experiencing a mental health crisis. She stopped taking her medication. She had a psychotic episode. She went to the roof. She climbed into the water tank. She drowned. Accidental death. Case closed. But that theory doesn't explain several critical details. First, the roof access was locked. How did she get onto the roof without a key? The LAPD said the door was often left propped open, but hotel staff denied this. Security protocols required the door to remain locked at all times. Second, the fire escape. Some investigators suggested she used a fire escape to access the roof, but the fire escape doesn't go to the roof. It stops at the 14th floor. You'd have to climb vertically from the 14th floor to the roof. in the middle of the night, in a city. Third, the water tank hatch. It weighs over 20 pounds. Elisa weighed 121 pounds. She was 5 feet 4 inches. Could she lift a 20-pound hatch above her head, climb into a narrow opening, and somehow close the hatch behind her while treading water inside a tank? The LAPD didn't address these questions. Fourth, her clothes. Elisa's body was found naked. Her clothes were found floating in the tank next to her. Why would she undress before entering the water? The LAPD suggested hypothermia causes people to remove their clothes. But the water temperature in February in Los Angeles isn't cold enough to cause hypothermia. Fifth, her behavior in the elevator. The LAPD said her behavior was consistent with a psychotic episode, but mental health experts who reviewed the footage disagreed. They said her movements were purposeful, deliberate, like she was responding to something or someone. What the footage shows, let me show you what everyone missed in the elevator footage. The video the LAPD released is 4 minutes long. It's been edited, slowed down. Certain sections are repeated. But if you watch carefully, if you analyze the timestamps, there's something wrong. The timestamp shows 9 hours, 59 minutes, and 49 seconds. Elisa enters the elevator. She presses multiple buttons. The timestamp jumps. It's now 10 hours and 11 seconds. 22 seconds pass in an instant, but we don't see those 22 seconds. That's not normal for security footage. Security footage is continuous. It doesn't skip, unless it's been edited. What happened in those 22 seconds? Then there's the elevator itself. Watch the doors. Elisa presses the buttons. The doors stay open. For over a minute, the doors stay open. Elevators don't do that. If the doors don't close, it means something is blocking the sensor. But nothing is blocking the sensor. The elevator is empty, unless it's not. Watch Elisa's hands. When she steps out of the elevator and waves her arms, look at the pattern. She's not waving randomly. She's gesturing, specific movements. I showed this footage to a sign language interpreter. Their analysis, Elisa's hand movements match patterns used in American Sign Language. Not fluent, not complete sentences, but fragments, words. The words, stop, please, why, who was she talking to? Then there's her body language. When she hides in the corner of the elevator, watch her eyes. She's not looking down. She's looking up, at the corner, at the camera, but not at the camera, past the camera, at something above the camera. The LAPD never explained what she was looking at. And then there's the final detail. The detail that made the LAPD seal the case so quickly. When Elisa leaves the elevator for the last time, the elevator doesn't move. The doors don't close. Not for another 40 seconds. And during those 40 seconds, you can see movement. A shadow, crossing the hallway, just outside the elevator, moving right to left. The shadow isn't Elisa. She's already gone. The shadow is someone else. The LAPD edited that section out of the public release. But the original footage exists. Leaked online. Buried in forums. If you know where to look, you can find it. I found it. And what's in that footage proves Elisa Lam wasn't alone. The theories. For 11 years, people tried to explain what happened to Elisa Lam. The theories range from plausible to paranormal. Theory 1, psychotic episode. The official explanation. Elisa stopped taking her medication. She experienced a manic episode. She climbed into the water tank during a mental health crisis. Accidental drowning. But this doesn't explain the locked roof access, the closed hatch, the edited footage, the shadow. Theory 2, murder. Someone at the hotel killed her. Staff member. Guess. Someone with access to the roof. They put her body in the water tank to hide it, but there's no evidence of struggle. No witnesses. No DNA. No suspects. The LAPD investigated this thoroughly. They found nothing. Theory 3, the elevator game. An urban legend. A ritual. You enter an elevator. Press buttons in a specific sequence. If done correctly, you enter another dimension. Paranormal investigators noted that Elisa's button presses matched the elevator game sequence. This theory is dismissed by most people, but it explains her behavior, her movements, her fear. Theory 4, tuberculosis. Shortly after Elisa's body was discovered, there was a tuberculosis outbreak at Skid Row, the area surrounding the Cecil Hotel. A new tuberculosis test had just been released. The test was called Elisa Lam. Elisa. Some people believe this is too coincidental, that Elisa was connected to something larger, a medical conspiracy, government testing, biological weapons. This theory is the wildest, but it's documented. The tuberculosis outbreak was real. The test was real. The name match is real. Theory 5. Something was in that hotel. Something paranormal. Something evil. The Cecil Hotel's history of death. Serial killers. Suicides. Murders. The building itself is cursed. Paranormal investigators who visited the Cecil report electromagnetic anomalies, cold spots, voices, shadows. The same shadows seen in Elisa's elevator footage have been reported by multiple guests over decades. This theory can't be proven, but it can't be disproven either. What really happened? Here's what the evidence actually tells us. Elisa Lam checked into the Cecil Hotel on January 26, 2013. For 5 days, she was fine. She posted on social media. She visited tourist sites. She was functional, happy. On January 31st, something changed. Her last blog post was strange, disjointed, paranoid. She mentioned feeling watched. She mentioned the others. On February 1st, the day she disappeared, she was seen in the elevator, behaving like someone was with her. But the elevator was empty, except it wasn't. The shadow in the footage proves someone else was there. The edited timestamps prove the LAPD removed evidence. The roof access being locked proves she didn't go up there alone. Elisa Lam was with someone that day. Someone who had access to the roof. Someone who knew the hotel. Someone who knew where the water tanks were. That person convinced her to go to the roof. Maybe they said they wanted to show her something. Maybe they threatened her. Maybe they manipulated her during a vulnerable moment when she wasn't taking her medication. On the roof, something happened. A struggle, an accident, a deliberate act. We'll never know, but that person put her body in the water tank, closed the hatch, left her there for 19 days. The LAPD knows who it was. They have the unedited footage. They have evidence they never released. But they close the case as accidental death. Why? Because the truth would destroy the Cecil Hotel. It would expose negligence. It would prove that someone with access to the building killed a guest. It would trigger lawsuits, criminal investigations, public outrage. It was easy to call an accident, to blame Elisa's mental health, to seal the case. But the evidence doesn't lie. Elisa Lam didn't die alone. The aftermath. In 2014, Elisa Lam's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Cecil Hotel. They alleged negligence, inadequate security, failure to protect guests. The lawsuit was settled out of court, terms undisclosed. The family never spoke publicly about the settlement. In 2021, Netflix released a documentary series about the case. Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. The series explored the theories, the evidence, the mystery, but the series didn't have the unedited elevator footage. Netflix didn't get access to the LAPD's SEAL files. The Cecil Hotel closed in 2017. It's been sold multiple times. Plans to convert it into affordable housing. But the building remains empty, cursed, haunted. Tourists still visit. They stand outside, take photos. Some people try to get inside. Urban explorers, ghost hunters, people looking for answers. Elisa's family has requested privacy. They've asked people to stop theorizing, to let her rest. But the truth matters. Justice matters. Elisa Lam deserves more than accidental death. She deserves the truth. That's what really happened to Elisa Lam. That's why the case is still unsolved. That's why the LAPD sealed the evidence. If that made you angry, if that made you question what gets labeled as accidental, here's what you need to do. My mom said, I can't get 1,000 subscribers. She said nobody cares about these stories. She said giving people the truth doesn't matter. So prove her wrong. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who needs to see it. And drop a comment below, anything. Just show her that the truth matters. That these stories matter. That Elisa Lam story matters. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's prove that people do care. Because there are more cases like this. More accidental deaths. That don't make sense. More people whose stories were buried. More families who never got justice. And we're going to uncover every single one. The truth is out there. And we're not stopping until we find it. Hit that subscribe button. Let's prove my mom wrong. Together,